Today, we're in Burlington, Iowa, which is the namesake city of the Chicago and Quincy Railroad, Chicago Northern, and of course, so this place is full of railroad history. While I usually rail fan, because sitting in the yard is not one, but two back-to-back Santa Fe Bluebonnets. These two engines have been bouncing back and forth between Galesburg for about 2 weeks now, pulling scale test cars and low priority manifests, so of course I had to try my hand at catching them in action. However, they don't move it. Because that gives us plenty of time to look at this. A classic SD9 and classic Southern Pacific classic. This engine was made in 1919 for Southern Pacific before being sold to their subsidiary, Railroad. But after that company went under, this engine ended up in Burlington's and now rests dead in tow here in leaser service. Dead was an interesting designation. It means the locomotive's traction motors have been disconnected or isolated for transport purposes. Had the motors not been isolated, they could have created a detrimental braking force, similar to dynamic braking, while the locomotive was in motion, which could cause flat spots on the wheels or a fire if you're unlucky enough. 4324's been sitting here for over a year now. Hopefully it's just in storage and not awaiting a scrapper, because I can't see a reason why it wouldn't be operational anymore. Back at the bonnets, we see an awesome sight as a westbound coal drag approaches. This SD6 makes for a fantastic EMD family portrait. 3 generations of special duty power wearing 3 iconic paint jobs. Right now, the crew's doing their preliminary checks, getting paperwork in order, communicating with dispatch, and untying the locomotives.
Stop! You're going the wrong way. But it's a backing signal.
1755
Protested and told him about Gordon and James. The driver laughed.
Check out the signal aspect above 1755. It's flashing red under solid red. This must be a special aspect on because I've only seen it in and around rail yards. Even though both lights are red, which would typically mean the train is allowed to proceed, the flashing one indicating stop at all costs.
After backing way on up and having the boys in Fort Worth flip the switch, the Bluebonnet duo made their way to the other end of the yard so they could start building their train. This evening, they're making an M train, which is a low priority manifest that usually has a rather
short route. You never know what you're going to get with M trains. Sometimes they have amazing power on the head end, like normal road engines, and other times they're led by normal road engines. Their length is also a toss-up. They might be as long as normal road engines, or have less than 10 normal road engines. It all depends on what the railroad is calling for on any given day. I think it's absolutely wonderful that we as rail fans can still see sights like this almost a quarter of the way through the 21st century. Who would have thought that nearly 30 years after it was created, we'd still have classic Santa Fe Bluebonnets pulling revenue freight over the main line? I swear, railroads are just railroads. For the rest of the evening, the train went back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth,
and back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth.
Since this is an M train, it's going to take a back seat to a lot of other trains on this line, such as this empty westbound coal drag headed back to the Powder River Basin. As we catch back up with the ATSF duo in Danville, Iowa, as they highball over the main line, with the last minutes of daylight barely poking over the horizon. and with the cool Midwestern night fast approaching, I decided to call it a day. Thanks for watching. If y'all enjoyed this video, consider checking out some other ones of mine. Also, maybe pass yourself by the merch shop. Anyways, till next time.